Hey, what's up, guys? So by popular request, and by popular request I mean the one guy that told me this might be cool, I decided to start recording some of this stuff. So I have a lot of projects that I work on, so many things that I do that might be beneficial to some people, or at least be maybe enjoyable. I don't know, we'll see. But a project I'm working on right now is a car that I haven't driven in a while now because of the project. It's my 06 Cobalt SS supercharged. So I'm gonna give you a quick walk around of this thing. Painted it green, it used to be yellow, put it on airbags, did all the management myself. I set up the suspension, so it's a bag over shock or bag over strut system. BC coilovers with the universal air bags. I 3D printed a mess in here right now because of the project I'm about to talk to you about. 3D printed the controller. These are LED buttons, green for up, blue for down on each corner, and red for pancake. Ion red line seats, the Recaros. So currently working on a wire tuck. So right now I have the wires very roughly ran, but I extended a bunch of them so I can mount my fuse box on the inside of the vehicle instead of the outside. Most of these stayed about the same. Those go to the compressor and the electric fans and a bunch of others there. The main ones that I are relocating are for the ECU, which is these two. I have one more to extend, which I'll show you in a second. So here you can follow where I'm running all the wires through. I cut this hole, repurposed this grommet that was on the firewall, and so yeah, it worked out pretty well. So this is my fuse box. This isn't the interior fuse box. This is the fuse box that's supposed to be under the hood, and it's not anymore. As you can see, luckily, with 3 of these 4 connectors that are on here so far, all I had to do was pull the wires through the firewall where the hole is that they ran through right there. So luckily I was able to pull everything through. That's where that grommet was, and it fit. So that worked out really well. The one that I did have to extend is this one here. Did soldering, heat shrink, try to do it as clean and solid as possible. So this one is almost done. The only connector that I have left is actually the headlight, horn, fog light harness that goes to this one. So I'll probably end up starting the car, or attempting to start the car first before I extend that one. As you can see, I had to remove the dash, all the trim pieces, the radio, all my A-pillars. Try to remove as much as possible. I was gonna get the frame out of there, but it became a huge hassle, so I decided to just leave it in there, and so far it's worked out without needing to remove it, so that saved us a lot of time. It actually looked a lot worse than this because I had the column hanging down, and it was actually worse, believe it or not. So today I'm just here very quickly. Yesterday I came and undid this harness, which is for the spark plugs for our coil packs. Most of these harnesses had the split loom. That's the ribbed kind of generic loom that you get from the factory. And I found this a while back. It's a braided split loom, and man, this stuff just looks worlds better. I extended this one last night, and so I'm gonna put it on there and see if it reaches my connector. So here we have it. Got all my connectors on. It's gonna be tucked away. It's gonna have the cover on it, and that's the sad thing about a lot of this is like I'm taking the time to put this really nice loom on and do really good soldering joints, you know, put the heat shrink on, and unfortunately the whole point of this is to tuck it away so nobody's gonna see it. But it's peace of mind. I know it's done right. It's really clean. But this is the one I just ran right here. Gonna run it underneath and come out right here. Everything's gonna run right under that headlight bracket. Here's my connector. And let's see, quote packs. Tried to label everything, of course, and it reaches and fits just right. So anybody that knows anything about what a Cobalt engine bay looks like, or a wire tuck, you probably know by now that I have quite a few hours into this thing already. I might backtrack a little bit, kind of show you guys what I did. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I do have some time into it so far. I had to remove the fuse box, I removed the reservoir, the intake, the ECU. I had to remove all that stuff, and then of course slowly take apart the engine harness. The dash was the first thing I did, so I made sure that all the connectors were right. Tried to figure out where exactly I was going to put the fuse box to begin with. So this is just the first part of this project. This is a wire tuck. If you're not familiar, typically what you do is a tuck and shave. So the first part is the wire tuck, getting everything tucked away, hidden exactly how I want it. Then the next part would be the shave. So then I would remove the engine, which may be at a time down the road, because this part is enough work as it is for now. Get it on the road, kind of drive it around and see where it goes from there. Also, there's a few other things I'm gonna delete which aren't related to wiring, and that would be like the ABS module, which is this fella right here, and all the hard lines that go into it. Hopefully I'll be able to just break off right at behind the firewall and tee everything off how it needs to be teed off. Then just get this big old thing out of the way. It's gonna be a show car. I removed airbags and wipers and washer fluid. It's gonna be more for show than anything. I'm gonna build the motor. A lot of little things in the works that would be over a long period of time, but this is kind of where I'm at for now, kind of what I wanted to do, what I had time for, and it's going to be a pretty big improvement anyways, and get in a big step in where I want to be with this car. I kind of contemplated selling it, and as you can see, I changed my mind because I still have it and I'm still working on it. It's my first car, got it when I was 16, definitely didn't look like this. It was definitely all that yellow. Less than stock. It was an SS, or it is an SS. Had a base model front bumper, some front end damage. We had to replace all our cooling components, the radiator, the AC condenser, and the heat exchanger, just to get it running right. And had it on the road for a while, and little by little it just turned into this thing, just kind of spiraled out of control. As of today, the last connector that I need to extend is this one here. This is one of the ECU harnesses. It had the ABS module, and it's got quite a few other things, 34 wires to be exact. So I have 68 solder joints to do before we can test it out. So we're getting there. I did all that with this one, and a couple other connectors and all the ones under the hood, but it's the last one to do. So I'm gonna try to figure out where to cut some of these, if they have duplicate colors, maybe offset the cuts and tape them off. That way I make sure I don't mismatch anything. So that'll be the next thing to do right now. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm separating which ones have duplicates and which ones don't, because the ones that don't will be easy. I just gotta cut them. Once I identify the duplicates, it's gonna be a little bit harder because I gotta either stagger, like I said, or tape them off, figure something out. So that's what I'm doing right now. And boom, the last one has been cut. Kind of intimidating because once you cut, especially when there's multiple of the same color, there's really no going back. So for some of these, I flagged them, taped them like a flag for one color. The other ones, if they had multiple, rolled it up, similar to this green one here. And some of them, we were lucky enough to get just one of that color, so I just cut it. The next thing to do now, which didn't have to be done in any particular order, but this obviously was in there. It's gonna have to run all the way to this connector here. So I have to figure out how long that needs to be extended to get into the cab. What I've been doing actually, so this is my pile of deleted stuff. Fuse box, mount, saw, deleted that. Wipers, wiper motor, washer fluid reservoir, wires cut from ABS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get, let's see, one of these longer wires, and I'm gonna run it to see how long, as a template basically, to see how long this wire is going to be. Okay, so there we have it. As you may or may not have seen, I didn't have one that was long enough, so I just wrapped up a couple of them. It's just kind of a rough estimate. There's really no precision needed in this part. Kind of want to leave a little bit of slack so it's not super tight, but came out to about 5 feet. So I'll take this back home with me, where I have all my wire and all my soldering supplies, and get to work. I mean, we have 34 of these to make for this guy to start up, and see how we can get it done. Also, just as a disclaimer, I've never done this before. A lot of things that I've done on my car, on the truck, on the Chevelle, you know, whatever it may be, starts off with YouTube, it starts off with some Google searches, some research, and I don't know, I just have some pretty decent luck with setting my mind to it and doing it. Taking it step by step, making sure I cover all my bases, and doing it as right as I possibly can. So it's kind of where we're at right now. It's probably the end of it today. I'm gonna take this connector back home with me. Probably gonna be a few days of soldering. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this side home, splice everything, get all my extensions, solder this half, and then I'll come back and solder the other half onto the harness that's in the car. All right, so that's it on my time for today. I'm gonna go home, start getting on some soldering. I've been coming over here right after work lately, because before I was going home and changing and coming out here after dinner, and it was just, I was out here too late, and I gotta be up at 4:30 to go to work every morning. Yeah, so we're gonna continue possibly in the next video, and we'll see how it goes, see how many parts I break this into. I'm not really sure. Everything that I do is kind of like, we'll see how it goes, see where it leads me, see how long it takes. So it may or may not be long, maybe a quick process, but we will see. Y'all will find out with me. So welcome to the ride. Hopefully we get something good out of this. You guys let me know if there's anything I can change, anything I can do different, add or remove, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. So I forgot there was a couple other things I wanted to add while I'm on my way home. If this continues, there's gonna be quite a bit more content. I got a few projects coming up, kind of mix it up a little bit. Whatever you guys want to see, y'all let me know. I have no problem. I actually was looking forward to being able to show people what I do. Like, man, I do these projects so often, and stuff that I really don't see too much information on the internet. You know, I'd like to share it with people, because I'm learning it by experience, especially this, you know, tuck and shave project. There's literally nothing online about Cobalt's doing this, so just kind of figuring it out, getting tips from my buddies from Squirrel Squad, my car club, and you know, people that have done it before on different cars, just trying to get little tips and tricks, as well as just kind of using like my base knowledge of electronics and, you know, the other projects that I've done before. Yeah, so there'll be more to come. Like I said, as long as everything keeps going well, I have the time and can put in all the effort to create these videos and edit them for you guys. So be on the lookout. There'll be more to come. Stay tuned, my people.